I sound like a liberal. What does that even mean? What did I say that sounds liberal? Better for Zoron to do it late because he has had time to sell himself as his own person who happens to be endorsed by AOC rather than being early. Yeah. All right, whatever. I'll post it. This is gonna piss off a lot of hardliners like Zay Squirrel and so many others who were posted about AOC's like horrible takes initially about how Israel is important for American national security concerns or something that she said like all the way back in like October 13th, 2023, which is still a silly thing to say, you know, but regardless, you know, making it seem as though she's saying that right now, I feel like there's a different impact. Okay, looks like the cam's trying to focus on the background Hasan sign. Yeah, I know, it happens all the time. Don't worry about it. All right, we're blasting off. We're blasting off. We're blasting off. We're blasting off. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Leftists are allergic to winning? No, that's not true. I mean, it's true for some, but that's not broadly a true statement. Okay, I will tell you exactly what I mean by this. I think that there are a lot of people who are rugged hardliners who have been in this game for a lot longer than you have, who have already lost all faith and all confidence in the electoral process. Okay. And they understand. There are some who recognize that there is no entryism. There is no way to reform the Democratic Party. And I don't hold that against them. I do not hold that against them. Because what do you expect people to feel, you know, after all of this? The Discord has forsaken you, Hank. Yeah, I don't care. I don't want to hear from people. I don't want to hear from people who don't care about the electoral process, but then only talk about it as in a negative connotation with a negative association. It's like, it's all good, man. Let people enjoy it. Okay. It's not for you. Okay, if it's meaningless, if it's utterly meaningless, do your other organization. Okay, do your other organizing outside of the electoral process, and that's fine. You feel me? I'm sorry. One second. Okay, ugly ass hat, Unc. You bumping lines? What, like cocaine? All the time. Have you been to the Endor subreddit? It's like a subreddit for Palestinian solidarity now. Yeah. This is the only thing you need to read. HasanAbi is truly the people who don't know electoralism who were nerds. The original Leninists. I've had this in my notes app 70 days ago. AOC had a big circle on her calendar called Endorse Zoron for months now, and a bunch of weirdos online are either like, no, she won't, or there's no sign she's going to do that. While a guy who was an AOC early supporter / constituent, former staffers of hers, 4-year New York City DSA electoral leadership member, 2-year national DSA electoral leadership member, was saying repeatedly, yeah, don't worry, she's set to endorse Zoron between May 20th and June 7th, depending on the news cycle. And you were all like, shut up, loser. Stan, how do you know that? Stop listening to the obvious biggest liars, clout farmers, or shut up ignorant people online, lol. Like, we can have a conversation. The only conversation I will entertain about AOC's endorsement coming right now, as opposed to earlier, the only conversation that I will ever entertain is like, would it be tactically better to endorse earlier so that you can have maximum impact for name recognition? Or is it actually better to hold out on the endorsement until people start paying attention to the New York City mayoral primary? And I think I'm going to leave it up to AOC on that one, because I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert when it comes to New York City primaries, New York City mayoral primaries. I am not an expert on this front at all. AOC, on the other hand, is an incredibly important figure in New York City politics and in New York state politics, and increasingly in national politics as well. Do I have disagreements on areas where I feel like I am a little bit more knowledgeable in terms of like how to communicate on certain issues? Absolutely. At the end of the day, I'm a 12-year professional political commentator at this point. You know, I've run through this process over and over again. And when it comes to like certain aspects of foreign policy or how to communicate on certain issues, I'm in alignment with AOC on a lot of stuff. When it comes to foreign policy and the way she makes certain decisions, sometimes I am in disagreements with AOC, but I would never turn around and be like, I know more about New York City elections I know more about New York City elections than Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez does. Like, she literally did it, and she is still doing it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Streamer for 7 years. Yes. I have been a political comment. I've been doing political commentary from writing for the Huffington Post, being on the Young Turks, all the way to just doing this on my own, both on my live stream and everywhere else for, at this point, for what? Since 2013. It's been 12 years. You know, like we're going crazy. I think y'all going crazy. Now, this doesn't mean that AOC, yeah, chatters will try to talk shit, and you got career consummate professionals, career journalists like Chris Hedges saying, I really appreciate your work. I think you guys forget, like, maybe the level of access that you have to me in the chat causes you to sometimes misunderstand or miscalculate the dynamic here a little bit, you know? Like, yeah, maybe it's the Magikarp hat. You see the Magikarp hat and you think, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. You sound like a liberal right now, not gonna lie. What? I sound like a liberal? What does that even mean? What did I say that sounds liberal? Better for Zoran to do it late because he has had time to sell himself as his own person who happens to be endorsed by AOC rather than being early. Yeah, yeah. Also, this is taking him out. Yes, this is gonna take Andrew Cuomo, who, or maybe, actually, BBW. Andrew Cuomo comes out in support of BBWs. This is gonna help him win. Landlord lobby is gonna be boosting him. We'll talk about all this stuff in a second. Okay, or just hold on. I want to get started on a lot of stuff. There's so much news to cover. Holy moly. You don't ask just don't ask about your Night Rain gameplay. Hashtag fake demon. Okay, calm down. I think I did all right. By Mao's definition of liberalism, you are liberal. It's all perspective. Okay. Well, I will write a self-crit report. Okay. I will do a struggle session. On my liberalism, my reactionary liberalism, and I will apologize. You have invoked the holy man, Mao. And now I must apologize. You also have to commit to not shower at least 1 week. Okay, that's not going to happen. All right. I apologize for my counter-revolutionary behavior. Liberalism is obviously reactionary. Liberalism is counter-revolutionary behavior, and I'm so sorry. Liberalism actually comes from the belief of individuality, which ruins the camaraderie that the working class can build, the momentum that the working class can build, like a spiritual atom bomb, and inevitably use to overtake the imperialist, Western, capitalist, hegemonic superpowers of the world. Chinese prosperity is here. As a white Chinese, I apologize for my liberalism, and I will get better. I will be better. I will do it. So, where was I? Yeah, so I told you, lots of told you so's today. Let's get started on this shit. Okay. Lots of told you so's today. Where the frick is it? Okay. Let's get started. So last night we watched the Zoran mayoral, the Zoran performance in the mayor debate in the New York mayoral primary for the Democratic Party. Zoran's performance was pretty solid overall. Obviously, we're a lot more familiar with who he is and what he stands for, what he represents. But for, I think, like newcomers, this was a fantastic opportunity for them to go, who's this nice young man? Who's this handsome, nice young man who is in second place? I don't think he was, if we're being honest, I don't think he was a super dominant force, okay? A super dominant force in the performance. Having said that, however, this is from even before the debate where I made this prediction, as chatters were once again calling me a liberal, saying I'm wrong, saying I don't know what I'm talking about, that AOC will never endorse. AOC will never endorse. You're so wrong. Hasan, what do you know about politics? Here it is. You're going to eat your words, brother. She's going to be the next Pelosi. AOC is going to endorse Zoran Mumani very soon. The Democratic Party needs guys like Zoran Mumani, okay? They need young talent that are bold,
that have a vision, that are ambitious, that want to truly fight for working class Americans. Will all of you that say AOC is not going to endorse Zoran Mumani come back here and say, Hasan, I'm eating crow. I am so wrong. Why would I ever doubt you, Lisan al-Gaib?
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Where are the crows? Are y'all eating them? Are y'all eating them? You said June 5th too? Yeah, I said after the debate. Yeah, congrats, dude. The two people that say Israel has a right to exist, no such thing under international law, did what you said they would. This is maximalist cope, by the way. Yes, turning around and being like, yeah, they're actually Zionists, and that's why they did it, and it's actually nonsensical and irrelevant. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't you dare fucking do that, okay? Especially not to someone like myself. Don't come in here and do that. Do you have the American government as a op? Do you have the Israeli government as a op inside of your fucking asshole? Is the ADL crawled up inside of your asshole right now? No? Okay, then don't come to me with this whole like, dude, listen, as an anonymous user online, I am far better an ally of the Palestinians because I just brought it up in this process. Like, don't do that. What do you want me to do? Go to fucking jail? Which could potentially happen. Well, I got the Turkish government as an op too. That's true. I got government ops. Let me take this fucking hat off. God damn it. People don't take me seriously with the Magikarp hat. And for the record, before people speculate that I had like inside access, I do not. I did not. I didn't like ask AOC or anything. I did not. Only take you seriously with the Magikarp hat on? Oh, well, bummer. So, where were we? Imagine a dog walks in and you're wearing the hat and he's just questioning everything. You were a little worried, be honest. I was a little worried. It's true. Were you crown king? You were right again. Yeah, I don't want to fucking hear it from people that, or rather, this is not, okay, look. What do I always tell you? It's not about being right and then telling people how right you are and then, telling people how wrong they are. This is an opportunity. This is a learning opportunity, okay? What caused you to believe this? What caused you to be like so firmly committed to the notion? Because I was also worried. I was worried as well. What changed my analysis? She did an early endorsement of Chiose earlier than Zoron. That's it. That's what changed my analysis. But like, I need you to understand. I was still worried. Like I kept saying it. I kept saying like, what the fuck's going on? My point is AOC is a careerist from our point of view. No, I understand. But for the record, endorsing Zoron can still be firmly within the careerism route. Okay. Like that in and of itself is not necessarily, you can still maintain your, AOC is just a careerist. Like, but then endorsing Zoron doesn't like take that away at all. Delaying her endorsement this long was also careerism. No, it wasn't. I don't think it is. My point is, regardless of the disagreements that I have with AOC from time to time, I'm not going to fucking sit here and act like, I'm not going to sit here and act as though AOC's endorsement of Zoron came at the time that it came specifically because like she was trying to maximize her endorsement from a point that like, causes her the least amount of damage or whatever. That's not the reality. Okay. That's not the reality. I think she endorsed Zoron at this point because people are fucking paying attention to the elections. Okay. That's it. This doesn't make like, that's it. I think that the reason why she held out on the endorsement is because she wanted to have maximum impact when people are paying maximum amount of attention. This is the New York City mayoral primaries for the Democratic Party, guys. It is not exactly the talk of the town. Okay, it's not something that people care about. You care about it, and in a lot of instances, you have a hard time overcoming your own little bubble. We care about it because we're fucking autistic nerds that love politics and cover it non-fucking stop. So Obviously, you're in the community of a dude who fucking flew out to New York and met up with Zoran months ago. Of course, we have a very different assessment of the importance of this than the black and brown aunties and uncles that live in fucking Bronx that are just now realizing that there is even a fucking New York City mayoral primary taking place and might not even be currently registered to vote. That's what's so crazy about it. Like, you get so defensive, and I think it makes your argument sound weaker. I hear you're saying, though, wait, what? You get so defensive over what? So just work through all of the stuff, all of your analysis that led you into believing, that, like, oh, this is definitely not going to happen. And then make sure that you don't feel that way again, or make sure you don't make that mistake again. Wrong analysis. That's it. Don't you ever put that much stink on the Bronx ever again. I'll beat you up. I love the Bronx. I have no problems with the Bronx. Yeah, this was my assessment too. AOC promoting Zoran any earlier than she did would have also extended the window of defamation. It also helped maintain focus on Cuomo last night. Yeah, because like if Zoran came in as the #1 candidate to the debate last night, I feel like everyone would be out. Knives would be out for him. Whereas last night, knives were out for Cuomo. A lot of people that are just now paying attention, to the fucking debate are recognizing that, you know, Cuomo's a bad dude. That's it. And I think it was good that it came now. All right, let's do before we get into the Elon Musk drama, baby mama drama, let's briefly cover the debate last night. And this was the worst part of it. Here is Christian Divine doing a meme about it.
Donnie, what will be your first international visit as the mayor of New York City? I actually plan on staying here and running the city that I am running to be mayor of. 5 boroughs, New York City, running for New York City mayor. Will you visit the state of Israel? No, because I'm the mayor of New York City and my plan is to run New York City. However, there are many historic Jewish communities here and I plan to support them and visit them here. Do you believe in a Jewish state of Israel? I mean, I believe in Israel's right to exist.
See, he won't say it. He won't say it.
He won't say it. He won't say it. Me personally, the first day I'm in office as mayor of New York City, I'm flying straight to Tel Aviv and sucking the first dick I see. I'm sucking it hard. On a serious note, though, it is.
That was literally, okay, that's verbatim what happened. It's also verbatim what I joked about as well.
Currently, I have until June 14th, 10 days to register to vote in New York City.
When you write it out so plainly like this, everyone can see. If anyone was curious, the moderators of the New York City mayoral debate asked each candidate where they'd first visit a mayor. Zoran said he'd stay in New York City to address New Yorkers' problems. And then they asked him if he would go to Israel. He repeated his answer. And then they asked him if he believed Israel has a right to exist as a Jewish homeland. I'd argue that's a normal sign that things are going well. Like, that is so crazy. And this is cope, okay? New York City has a large Jewish population, most of whom are pro-Israel. Shut the fuck up, okay? What are we doing? What are we doing? There is no planet where any of this is normal. Stop trying to normalize this. Stop trying to make it seem as though this is a valid concern for the New York City mayoral primaries for the Democratic fucking Party in a country where across the board, like 80% of Democratic Party voters, probably even a higher number, want to fuck a ceasefire in Israel, want Israel to cease murdering children in Gaza. And we're making it seem we're like this kind of conversation is not normal. Like, this is not a normal question to ask. It's not a normal question to ask. People that actually look at this question do not react in the normal way. Like, do not react in the way where they go, well, I guess there's a lot of Jews that love Israel, so I guess that makes sense. Like, no, that's dumb guy shit. Stop normalizing this kind of fucking idiotic. Doors open. Stop. There is no other country that gets this treatment, okay? It's fucking insane. I hate it. I hate when people actually go, nah, there's a lot of Jews that love Israel. You got to ask them this question. Nope. No shot. They're Americans. They're New Yorkers, okay? They're New Yorkers. Jews living in New York are American New Yorkers first, okay? They're not living in fucking Israel. I don't give a fuck what their opinion on Israel is, and I don't give a fuck what Zoron is going to say about the situation at all, okay? They got American New Yorker concerns first and foremost, okay? Maintaining the Jewish ethno-state that is doing a fucking genocide is not going to cause an American Jew living in New York to be able to pay their fucking rent. This framing is one that benefits Zion. I don't like it. Stop entertaining this fucking stupid ass framing. Okay? When someone encounters this framing, oftentimes it'll be a Zionist who will tell you, well, you know, you have to talk about this. A lot of Jews in New York, they all care about Israel. That's what they love. They do the woke dual loyalty trope, right? Not even fucking dual loyalty, woke single loyalty trope, okay? But wokely. Okay, when someone says that, I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why does anybody give a shit about this? Do they ask you what your opinions are on Jamaica? There's a lot of fucking Jamaican expats living in New York too. Like, are they asking the New York mayor? They don't even ask the New York mayor about Puerto Rico. And there's hella fucking Puerto Ricans. And Puerto Rico is an American territory. And they're not asking the New York mayor about Puerto Rico. Be for real. What the fuck? Mr. Cuomo, what is your thoughts on Italy? Like, asking someone about Puerto Rican statehood would probably be a lot more significant because it's still America in a place where there's a lot of Puerto Ricans. Okay? Puerto Ricans are American citizens. Puerto Rico is an American territory. Israel is not an American territory yet, okay? Maybe not on paper. Maybe, it kind of is. It's the most important state for American interests, but it's not an American state. Like, here, Felix has a good take on this as always. I always imagine people doing this with similarly sized countries. I think about someone getting absolutely hysterical because a municipal politician won't commit to visiting Baku in their first 100 days in office. Wait, why don't you live in Azerbaijan, you ask? They call 911. Does Papua New Guinea have a right to exist as a Papuan state? As the sheriff of McHenry County, Illinois, will you affirm Belgium's right to exist? Do you agree that Belgium should get the last say on any potential nuclear deal between U.S. and Iran? I make these jokes too. It's like, that's the reason why I love bringing up Estonia, okay? Does Estonia have a right to exist, sir? Your silence on Estonia is deafening. It's like, why? I'm the fucking mayor of New York. I'm running to be the mayor of New York. The fuck do you mean, Estonia? Sir, please, you need to reaffirm your commitment to Estonian defense. Why? What? Shut the fuck up. Anyway, what is this? Yeah, I already, yes. If Estonia was invaded by Russia, it would be a legit question, though. Okay, why don't they ask the fucking New York mayor about their commitment to Ukraine then? Why didn't they ask him about Ukraine then? There you go. That's a fucking country that's being invaded by Russia. Why did that not come up? Why did that not come up in the New York mayoral debate? America has plenty of security commitments to Ukraine right now. Why did that not come up? Zoron could have immediately won the debate and gained 30 points in the polls by responding, what will you do if Trump says the hospitals must stop caring for undocumented immigrants with I will demolish Trump Tower? Oh, that's fucking awesome. The New York Times is peddling the same bullshit in the article about the AOC endorsement. Why does New York Times keep lazily saying this? It's simply not true. Mamdani is polling second with Jewish voters. Again, yeah, roughly consistent with this overall polling. The conflation of criticizing Israel with alienating Jewish voters is just vibes, a racist mirror without empirical basis. It is woke dual loyalty. It is woke dual loyalty. It is the New York Times wokely saying Jews only fucking care about Israel. I'm losing my mind. This isn't to say that there aren't Jews that do fucking care about Israel, okay? I'm not saying that there aren't. A lot of them are voting for Donald Trump. A lot of them have voted for Donald Trump. A lot of them are Republican, firmly committed Republican voters, okay? They've always, the Orthodox communities in New York that are insanely fucking reactionary have almost always been firmly committed right-wing Republican voters, okay? They have always been a firmly committed right-wing Republican voting bloc in New York. They are not voting for the Democrat. You could say, Am Israel Chai, all day, every day, they are voting for the Republicans because they're right wing. Are there Democratic Party donors who are Jewish, who care about Israel? Sure. But overall, the overwhelming majority of Jews living in New York are American New York Jews. They are not Israeli. They are not living in Israel. They are living in fucking New York. Holy shit. Jesus Christ. It's especially crazy to say this about Jews in New York who have been there for so fucking long. They've been there for longer than Israel as a nation state has existed. And you're over here being like, well, you know, these guys, I don't know, man. Maybe they really love Israel. I hate this fucking stupid ass bullshit.
These are a reflection of themselves.
All right, yes or no? Because
they're still hitting him on this. They're still shit, which is so goddamn annoying. Oh, excuse me, sir. Does Rhodesia have a right to exist? Excuse me, sir. Does apartheid South Africa have a right to maintain its apartheid structure? After all, if the blacks were allowed and the coloreds were allowed to get the same rights, things would be bad. It would ruin the sanctity of South Africa. Like, blacks. It's fucking so stupid. It's a stupid ass question. No one would be entertaining the question. It's the same exact question for Israel, okay? It's so dumb. I was not looking at the stream. I had no fucking idea. Hasan, that's insane. Was that good? Was that a good South African accent? I don't know. Probably not. I'm sorry. I'm trying my best. You've got a lot of energy today. It's getting a little bit better, I think. Afrikaner.
I feel like you did not want to make a definitive statement on this. Do you support Israel's right to exist as a Jewish state?
I support Israel's right to exist as a state with equal rights. I believe that every state...
Why not as a Jewish state?
Because I'm not comfortable supporting any state that has a hierarchy of citizenship on the basis of religion or anything else. I think that...
Oh, so good. Great. Perfect. Now it's up to her to sit there and fucking defend a Jewish ethno-state. Now it's up to her to be like, well, Zoran, it's actually very anti-Semitic of you to not let Israel exist as an ethno-state.
In the way that we have in this country, equality should be enshrined in every country in the world. That's my belief.
All right, let's talk a little bit about defund the police.
Great way to fucking say it. Obviously, I put a little bit more seasoning on when I say things like this. Okay? Yeah, there you go. He fucking demolished the argument. No counter necessary. She quickly moves on. As a black South African, I can safely say you're the only one outside of South Africa I've heard who has pulled off the Afrikaner accent. Okay, you're lying. Okay, you're lying, but thank you for lying. But that made me feel good. I think that was really my Afrikaner is bad. Is fucking so bad. I know it's bad. It's like embarrassing, and I don't like doing it because of how bad it is and how embarrassing it is. But I still try to do it regardless. But thank you. And I didn't pay that chatter. Everybody shut the fuck up. I did not pay that chatter at all. Anyway, here, AOC endorses, we'll read the New York Times report in a second. But before we read the New York Times report, here's Eyewitness, ABC News.
With just a few weeks to go until the primary, 9 Democratic candidates faced off for their first debate. The debate included attacks on the frontrunner, former Governor Andrew Cuomo. Eyewitness News reporter Phil Tate is live at City Hall. And Phil, one of the candidates just picked up a big endorsement. Isn't that right?
Yeah, Tanya, that's right. One of the most progressive voices, if not the most progressive voice here in New York. Congressmember Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has endorsed Assembly member Zoran Mumani. The big question this morning is what impact will this have on the race as he's already broken through in the polls. And this comes after last night's debate as he, along with so many other candidates, had spoke out on several issues important to New Yorkers as they'll head to the polls in just a couple of weeks for the June primary. Now, several of these issues were from public safety, housing, and even dealing with President Trump and the administration when it comes to the city. All in just 30 seconds, they had to answer these questions. Now, as 9 candidates vie for the party's nomination, it appears 8 of the candidates went after one of the race's main frontrunners, former Governor Andrew Cuomo, criticizing him on a number of issues over the coronavirus pandemic, sexual harassment allegations that caused his early exit from the governor's office. Let's take a listen to a bit of last night's showdown.
One of my regrets is having trusted the leaders within our own party, leaders like Andrew Cuomo.
The people who don't feel safe are young women, mothers and grandmothers around Andrew Cuomo. That's the greatest threat to public safety in New York City.
It's not only that Andrew Cuomo lied to Congress, which is perjury, he also lied to the grieving families whose loved ones he sent into those nursing homes to protect his $5 million book deal.
Andrew Cuomo has the nerve to talk about defund when he signed the bail reform bill with loopholes that you didn't even read.
No regrets when it comes to cutting child care. No regrets when it comes to slow walking PPE and vaccinations in the season of COVID to Black and brown communities. Really, no regrets.
Yeah, none of these candidates really held back last night, and while several of them looked to knock Andrew Cuomo off his game, the former governor only seemed to target just one candidate, that's State Assemblyman Zoran Mumani, the only challenger to break through in the polls. Let's take a listen.
Donald Trump would go through Mr. Mamdani like a hot knife through butter. He's been in government 27 minutes. He passed 3 bills.
The difference between myself and Andrew Cuomo is that my campaign is not funded by the very billionaires who put Donald Trump in D.C.
Now, we'll have to see how this endorsement plays out for Mamdani and the impact that it could have. Now, one person who was noticeably not on that stage was Mayor Adams. He'll be running as an independent and looks to meet whoever is able to pick up the Democratic nomination in the general election come this November. We are live outside of City Hall this morning. I'm Phil Tate, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Mr. President. The criticism that I've seen, and I'm sure you've seen...
Sorry, we're going to get here. Hold on. Very quickly, just going to go through the stupid fucking New York Times article, as I said, because it has that, like, classic part that I absolutely despise. There are some of the things I said. Some of the things I said last night, I already gave my opinion on it. I think Zoron did a decent job, but he didn't have the strongest showing. I think he did a fantastic job of like redirecting attacks back to Cuomo whenever they actually came after him. But the New York Times covers the AOC endorsement, as I said was going to happen after the debate. I gave you the fucking date, and it actually took place. So remember that next time you doubt me. New York City Congresswoman said she would list Adrienne Adams on her second on her Democratic primary ballot and urged the left to unite to defeat Andrew Cuomo. Representative AOC, New York City's most prominent progressive leader, endorsed Assemblyman Zoran Mumani for mayor on Thursday, throwing her clout behind the upstart socialist who has galvanized young voters. The endorsement, shared in an interview with the New York Times, represented perhaps the most significant attempt yet to push fractured progressives towards a single strategy to block former Governor Andrew Cuomo's path back to power. Assemblymember Mamdani has demonstrated a real ability on the ground to put together a coalition of working-class New Yorkers that is the strongest to lead the pack, Ms. Ocasio-Cortez said. In the final stretch of the race, we need to get very real about that. Time is of the essence. With just weeks left before the June 24th Democratic primary, Mr. Cuomo has maintained a steady polling lead, stirring memories of 2021 when progressives did not coalesce and lost the mayoralty to a moderate. In elevating the assemblyman, Ms. Ocasio-Cortez, 35, chose the candidate closest to her own mold. Mr. Mamdani, 33, is a leftist representing Queens, a millennial and a person of color who entered the race as long shot, only to jump to second place by igniting grassroots support with memorable policy proposals and viral videos. His platform echoes the Congresswoman's and has inspired pushback from more moderate Democrats. He wants to make the city buses free. He wants to freeze rent, increase on rent, stabilize apartments, and open city-run grocery stores, all funded by a $10 billion tax hike on business and the super rich. He's also been a sharp critic of Israel. But Ms. Ocasio-Cortez stressed that to defeat Mr. Cuomo, a moderate who she said belongs to the hedge funds and other wealthy interests funding his campaign, the left would have to build a bigger tent and urgently begin working more collaboratively. To that end, the Congresswoman says she would rank Adrienne Adams second, citing her record as a city council speaker and Ms. Adams' genuine inroads and connections in working-class Black and brown communities like the ones Ms. Ocasio-Cortez represents in the Bronx and Queens. She plans to rank Brad Lander, the city comptroller, third, followed by Scott Stringer, former comptroller, and Zelda Myrie, a state senator from Brooklyn. Several of the candidates hold positions to the Congresswoman's right. Even if the entire left coalesced around any candidate, an ideological coalition is still insufficient for us to win, the Congresswoman said. We have to have a true working class coalition. Okay? Not trying to be a just curious Andy, but was this a situation where you had a source that she would endorse, or would you just, I know, it's speculation off of the Chiose endorsement. Anyway, the intervention has the potential to shape the race's final stretch, given Ms. Ocasio-Cortez's stature among liberal advocacy groups and among the candidates themselves, as well as her growing popularity among more traditional Dems. But it remains far from clear it will be enough to either unite progressives or actually push Mamdani to victory. He has already maxed out campaign fundraising limits and saturated support among the young and very liberal voters most closely associated with the congresswoman. That is fucking bullshit, by the way. AOC herself does not have just a base of like young and very liberal voters. AOC in New York especially does have incredible name recognition with even the older black and brown aunties, okay, the abuelas and the unks. So that actually will play a major role. This endorsement will play a major role in getting that last coalition. AOC had fucking Trump voters, man. What are we talking about? The idea that this is like, it's just the wokes that go for AOC in New York is fucking bullshit, okay? That's bullshit. We're talking about New York. AOC nationally polls fine with a lot of constituencies, but we're talking about New York. In New York, she got it down, okay? She has locked it down. Her endorsement may further motivate supporters of Mr. Cuomo, who frequently blames the congresswoman and other members of his party left wing for alienating middle-of-the-road voters, talking about a person that does not fucking exist, okay? New York Times inventing a guy that doesn't exist with the hopes that this guy that doesn't exist is actually a very significant guy who is going to look at all the policies that Zoron is presenting and go, I don't like it. Stop doing this. You are making this shit up. Why are you making this shit up? I hate that they are making this shit up. This is a valid point of criticism. I'm really glad she endorsed, but I do think she really bungled it because she wasn't transparent. She should have set a date and organized an event, including all the people she wanted to rank and encourage them to cross-endorse. Why not organize a rally with Bernie and do that, make her endorsement event, pull the group together? That's what I also said that she should have done as well. Okay? I said that. I said that as well. I think that like a big banger organized event around Zoron will be it would have maximum impact. Yeah, fuck yeah, politics is fun again. Oh yeah, the girlies are fighting. We're going to get into it in a second. Cuomo secured most major labor union endorsement as has the support of congressmen from Queens, Harlem, and the Bronx. Ms. Ocasio-Cortez indicated that no immediate joint appearances were scheduled. Her 2021 mayoral endorsement almost exactly 4 years ago helped give Maya D. Wiley, another progressive, some late momentum, but she still lost. Since then, strategists on the left have lamented they failed to follow a cohesive ranked choice strategy, allowing Eric Adams, a moderate former police officer, to narrowly claim victory. Mr. Adams is running for re-election as an independent. This time, Ocasio-Cortez ranked slate mostly aligns with that of the Working Families Party, a bulwark of the left. The party has urged its supporters to rank 5 candidates on their ballot: Mr. Mamdani, Mr. Lander, Ms. Adams, Mr. Myrie, and State Senator Jessica Ramos of Queens in that order. Ms. Adams picked up a second congressional nod on Thursday from Representative Yvette Clarke of Brooklyn. Mr. Mamdani found out he has secured the endorsement among the most coveted in New York politics late Wednesday after he walked off the stage following his contest's first televised debate. In a statement, he called Mr. Ocasio-Cortez once-in-a-generation leader. In 2018, AOC shocked the world and changed our politics for the better with her historic victory, he said. On June 24th, we will do the same. I think there's something important about this, by the way. You have to also be a little bit quiet when you got guys like Zoron. Because if you get too much name recognition, too far out from the actual deadline, then all of the attacks and all of the oppo can kick in early on and flood the market. And then all of that opposition, like they're doing right now with the Israel shit, will gum up the works. They'll constantly try to get you to, they'll constantly put you on the defensive about Israel. And then you can't talk. Every time you're talking about Israel, you're not talking about the fucking things that you want to do for New York and New Yorkers. You're running for fucking mayor. What the hell? I'm not running for mayor in Tel Aviv. Ask me about that if I was running for mayor in Tel Aviv. I'm running for mayor in New York. I'm not Eric Adams, you know? New York is not the Tel Aviv of America, okay? New York City is the New York City of America. It's so goddamn annoying. Anyway, here's a guy that does exist. Famed Trump AOC voter, Yahya Obeid, a Yemeni leader in the Bronx, will also be a Trump Mamdani voter. That does make sense. Anyway, not caring about New York is the most New York thing you can do, bro. Anyway, Ms. Ocasio-Cortez and her aides spent weeks studying the race. They asked candidates to submit their polling and opposition and strategy memos to make their case for their viability. She has faced criticism for not weighing in sooner, but a person familiar with her thinking said she had long planned for her announcement to coincide with the final weeks of the race when many voters are just tuning in. Okay? Her decision to rank Mr. Mamdani first will be a particular disappointment to Mr. Lander, who has assiduously courted the Congresswoman for years and has entered the race as a progressive favorite. This is why I was like, when Greg Kazar did an early Brad Lander endorsement, I was disappointed. I mean, I told him when I interviewed him, I was like, "What are you doing? Like, I mean, come on, give our boy the fucking push. You know, you're the leader of the Progressive Caucus." Anyway, Mr. Lander, like Miss Adams, has a prominent citywide leadership position, potentially broad appeal, but they both have struggled to generate that kind of excitement Mr. Mamdani has. Though neither candidate has openly attacked Mr. Mamdani, they have privately made the case that he has unique weaknesses that could limit the support and help elect Mr. Cuomo, who resigned as a governor. Oh my God. Oh my God. They're trying to fucking cultivate drama to be like, well, Zoran is weak. Yeah, unique weaknesses. Unique weaknesses. What are the unique weaknesses that Zoran has? He's fucking Muslim, okay? That's it. The unique weaknesses are that he's fucking brown, dude. That's it. That's the unique weakness that he has. Oh, he's a brown socialist. It's scary. No, that's bullshit, okay? Brown, Muslim, socialist, scary. Okay, brown, Latina, socialist, not so scary with AOC. One of the most popular politicians in New York politics. What the fuck are we talking about? Mr. Mamdani, for example, has alienated parts of the city's large Jewish community with his outspoken support. Bullshit. Zoran Mumani, right now, across the board, on all demographics, is literally the runner-up, okay? He is the fucking runner-up. He's the runner-up. He's number 2 with Jews in New York. The Honer Strategy Group of 412 likely Jewish voters in June 24th Democratic primary conducted May 15th through May 18th shows Cuomo with 31% of support and Mamdani, a Democratic socialist who supports boycotting Israel, with 20%. Lander, who is Jewish, is in 3rd place with 18%. The other Jewish candidate, Scott Stringer, has 5% behind Council Speaker Adrian Adams with 8%. So clearly the notion that like, oh, Zoran Mamdani is alienating New York Jews with his statements about Israel is fucking stupid, okay? It doesn't even have anything to do with their opinions on Israel. If that was the case, if Jews in New York State, for example, only cared about Israel, AOC would not be defeating Chuck Schumer right now amongst New York Jews, okay? AOC has like fucking 12 points on Chuck Schumer, who is Jewish and fucking talks about Israel all the goddamn time and is a soldier for Israel, basically, okay, goes to AIPAC conferences, has stated on the record that his goal is to make the left support Israel. Why the fuck are New York Jews more on board with AOC? Was doing an ethnic cleansing campaign fucking almost a year ago at this point. Why? Perhaps it's because they're Jews in New York. They're not Jews in Tel Aviv. And when you are a Jewish person living in New York, in the United States of America, you have concerns that resemble the rest of the fucking electorate. That's my point. Caring about Israel is irrelevant in this process. It is a concern, certainly, but not one that is so overwhelming. Not one that is so fucking overwhelming that they're going to be like, nope, can't do it. As other candidates call for increasing the size of the city's police force, Mr. Mamdani once endorsed calls to defund the police and has proposed funding more violence interruption and mental health services instead of traditional law enforcement. Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe he would do such a thing. How dare he? Other Democrats are scared away by the socialist label he embraces and by his lack of experience. Mr. Ocasio-Cortez conceded that Mr. Mamdani had to work to do into cutting to Mr. Cuomo's support among Black and Latino New Yorkers. That's the whole point of the AOC endorsement, though. Trust can't be built quickly, she said. Ms. Ocasio, yeah, it's not even trust.